Hello, this is Lady Boulay, and I hope you're having a most marvelous day. Thank you for your support. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. Thank you for your thumbs up, for your comments, and thank you for sharing the videos. Thank you for all you do to support the channel. And yes, we are commanded to love one another, whether we want to or not, or whether we agree with each other or not. So today I'm going to do a tribute to President Jimmy Carter. And I have entitled this video, This President, the Last Decent Man Standing. And I'm talking about the presidency and the last president who really seemed to have the country's best interest at heart and also building peaceful alliances around the world. I believe that Jimmy Carter was the last president that had the mandate of the American people to do this, and I believe that he made an effort to do it. Jimmy Carter and Bill Clinton were two Southern governors who were elected president of the United States who had the support of black and white Southerners. These two men represent to me the last of the American presidents who tried to work both sides of the aisle. Jimmy Carter had more success than Bill Clinton. What has to be noted is that whenever a white man in any political position goes into office trying to do right by everybody, and that includes black people, the forces are going to come against him and undermine him and destroy his presidency or his governorship or his senatorship. Whatever office he has attained by the majority vote of the American people, he is going to come under attack. They're going to look for every scandal, look under every rock, every corner of America, looking for a scandal, something to drag that man down, just like they did Bill Clinton. Now, Jimmy Carter was a Christian man. He taught Sunday school before he became president. He taught Sunday school after he became president. He was married to the same woman for 75 years, and there was never a hint of scandal. So they weren't able to really tie any scandal on Jimmy Carter, but they tried to diminish him in other ways by calling him weak because he tried to make peace. He tried to bring nations together to work together in peace. But he was attacked for that, and they didn't rest until they destroyed him politically. There is a faction in America that does not want to see black people receive equality with white Americans. And so that is what is setting this country back. It has set the country back for many years. The reality of America is that it was never a land of free and justice for all. It was always a land of inequality, taking from other people, taking land from other people, taking labor, identity, tribe, language, humanity from other people. So that is the dirty little secret about America, even as America goes about the world claiming to be free for everybody and everybody has equal opportunities, when in reality everybody has not had equal opportunity. But America has produced some leaders who try to make America into what America says he is. Jimmy Carter was one of those leaders. James Earl Carter Jr. was born October 1st, 1924. He was born and raised in Plains, Georgia. He graduated from the United States Naval Academy in 1946 and joined the Navy's submarine service. Jimmy Carter actually served in the United States military, but he never threatened to use the military to bully other people, whether it was immigrants, legal or illegal, or other countries like Canada, Greenland, or Panama, which is what Donald Trump is always threatening to do. He's always threatening to use the military to bully other people or to force them to do something against their will. Jimmy Carter married Rosalind Smith, and they worked closely together throughout their 75 years. When he returned home from his military service, he revived his family's peanut growing business. And by that, meaning that he hired black people to do the work. That's what it comes down to. He opposed racial segregation and supported the growing civil rights movement and became an activist within the Democratic Party. Jimmy Carter was a descendant of a slave owning family. His great great grandfather owned many enslaved people and thousands of acres of land over 11 counties in Georgia. So his family benefited from the slavery system. Jimmy Carter transcended his Southern roots and became a champion for human rights and racial equality. And he had a complicated history with segregation, integration, and the changing America, but he made the effort to do it in a way that preserved everybody's dignity. Jimmy Carter's, I think, greatest downfall was that he didn't speak in sound bites. He actually tried to do something. He actually tried to make a difference. When a crisis happened in the world, he used what is called the bully pulpit to make a difference, to intervene, to get involved, not just sit back and throw big words at a solution or send the military in. He actually went in and tried to resolve the conflict himself. He tried to bring nations together. He went to the African nations. His first year in office, Jimmy Carter told the Democratic National Convention, "For too long, our country ignored Africa." And he was right about that. African leaders soon received invitations to the White House because we know that there was an air, a snooty air in Washington, that Washington and the White House was too good for African leaders to visit. He went to the Asian nations. He went to the Latin American nations. He went everywhere. And he was a champion for peace and for common sense and for people working together for a greater cause. So as a Southerner, I think that he did well because unlike some of these politicians who operate in divisiveness, Jimmy Carter really did not do that. When he became president, there was a feeling of optimism, I think, among Americans. But what happens is that if Black Americans come to like a president or a senator or anybody, then that person becomes enemy number one. So what really did Jimmy Carter in, because he was popular right up until the second term that he was running, called the Civil War or the revolution in Iran happened. Americans were kidnapped in Iran and held for 444 days, and Jimmy Carter was not able to get those hostages out of Iran. Ronald Reagan ran against Jimmy Carter as president, and he ran on that Iran hostage situation. So Jimmy Carter had made it his mission to try to bring peace between the Palestinians and the Israelis with Anwar Sadat and Menachem Begin. It looked like he had made a lot of headway with the Palestinians and the Israelis, but the mission ultimately failed. Once the Iranians took the hostages, Jimmy Carter had to negotiate with the Iranians. Now, what the allegations are is that Jimmy Carter had made a deal with the Iranians that he was going to unfreeze their money. America's always freezing their money so they don't have access to their money. He was going to release their money in exchange for releasing the hostages. But what the allegations are is that Ronald Reagan's team went behind Jimmy Carter's back and promised Iran weapons if they would hold the hostages until after the election. So that was a win for Ronald Reagan because he came across looking like he was the one that had gotten the hostages released instead of Jimmy Carter. And that led to a national scandal called the Iran-Contra scandal, in which they accused people in the Reagan administration of selling illegal arms to Iran. But Jimmy Carter lost the election because of the shenanigans supposedly that were played behind the scene. So Jimmy Carter is a president whose legacy has not really been realized. I think as time goes on, people will realize that this was a true American who wanted America to be what America said she was, and not just on paper, but in practice. So it is my hope that America will continue to grow and evolve, and that when another leader comes on the scene like Jimmy Carter, they will receive more support and more respect. So all I can say is rest in peace. You didn't make the country any worse, and I think you made it better, at least for a time. All right, y'all, let me know what you think about the video. Thank you for listening. Give me a thumbs up and have a good evening. P.S. Forgive this mic. I've got to get another one.